welcome in. It is day 296, and you're speaking with the Meeples Champion. And today, we're going over a game I've had in my collection for quite a while. I want to say I got this possibly either 2 birthdays or 2 Christmases ago. It was a game I was really excited for, but it wasn't an easy one to learn. And so I kept trying to pick up how to play it, and I wasn't quite sure, and it just kept getting delayed. Well, finally this week, I made the decision this was the game I was going to play. I watched a full playthrough, I watched a how to play, I still felt very confused, but thankfully once we got it to the table and me and my friends were able to really dive into this, we figured it out. The game is called Root. Now, Root is an interesting game, as every player is playing a completely different faction that works completely differently. We played a 3-player game, and I played as, and I'm not going to remember all their names, I want to say it's called the Marquee. I played as the cats. I was up against the birds, and I was up against the mice. Now, the idea is this is technically a war game, but you're doing this in such a different way. Your main objective is you're trying to get to 30 points. You get these points by building buildings. Every building that you get out on the board is going to get you points off your board. Then, on top of that, as you go around to other locations, every time you destroy somebody else's building, you gotta get a point for that. You're collecting cards, and some of these cards are going to give you the access to the top of the board where you're going to be able to grab special items. Now, unless the 4th player is in the game, those items don't really mean anything, but they are victory points. So you're going to get little 2 and 3 point victory point hits whenever you make one of these. And that's your main way to win. However, there are cards that you can draw during this game that are going to give you the ability to, once you get the required text on it done, you can use it as one of your card plays. It will remove you from the scoring tracker and now give you a special non-points related way to win the game. So this is another really interesting twist, because all of a sudden you're in the middle of this game where you're trying to, in my case for instance, I'm trying to win and I get a card and it says, well, if you can get to at least 10 victory points, which I was at 14, then you can activate this card and you can win if you have control of both corners at the start of your turn. Well, I already owned one corner. The other corner, I had my biggest force of my cats right above it. So I was very tempted to activate this card. I didn't activate it, but I attempted to take the corner. It was my downfall. I ended up losing 3 different battles there before finally defeating player A, the person who was the birds, but unfortunately at that point, player B, the person who was the mice, also had a force there, so I just wiped out the building, got a point, wiped out all the birds, but did not have a chance to take over because the mice now controlled there. So the game's very back and forth, but that being said, why don't we jump in, let's talk our 7 categories and see where this game lands for us. When it comes to the art, I really feel that this box does stand out. It's really one of those boxes that grabs your eye. I had never heard of Root the first time I saw it. It just was one of those ones that I went and looked at. But I wasn't as big into games at the time. It still grabbed me. And then as I've progressed, I've heard so many people speak so great about the game. And when I finally got it put out there, your cards, your board, which flips, you can have it on regular side or winter side, they're all just really good art. It's a thumbs up. Your components. Primarily, you're dealing with wooden components. All of the player pieces you're putting out when it comes to your mice, when it comes to your cats, when it comes to your birds, are all wooden. Then you have, for instance, with the cats, you can put out your sawmills, you can put out your locations to recruit from. These are all little cardboard pieces, as well as cardboard pieces for the other types of buildings that the other players make. And then you have your cards. All of these are really good quality. Thumbs up. Your price. This game's coming in around $50. You may see it sometimes to $60, but this is more a $50 game. It's a heavier game. If you're going on a scale of 1 to 5, this is at least a 3, maybe a 4 scale for your difficulty area, which means that this is not one that, if you buy it, is going to be easily played, easily understood. It's not one that's going to be able to grab everybody, but it's available everywhere. You're going to find this in every board game store. You're going to find it online. So for me, it's out there, it's available, but is it worth its price? I think it's worth its price if you are a smaller gamer, because you don't want to have too many big games like this in your collection. But at that same time, the smaller gamers tend to not be the experienced gamers, which are the ones this is really focused on. I think the price is tight. I gotta give it a thumbs down. Your difficulty. This is definitely for experts. It is in no way, in my opinion, for kids or for beginners. It's way too tough for them. It took me, as an expert, 2 years to finally get the game to the table to play because I couldn't understand it enough. I think your experienced players, though, can enjoy this game. It's going to just be one of those that's going to require a little bit of effort. It's not going to be a simple read the rules once or watch a video once. You're going to need to be learning while you're playing, but you're going to figure it out. So I'm going to say that if you have your experience, you have your experts, that's enough for me. Thumbs up on the difficulty. Replayability. I think that you're going to find some people really like this game, and this is like one of their big games they play. And that's great. There's your replayability for that type of person. But for the average player, I don't think this is a game that you're going to get to replay very often. It's never going to be a game you replay in the same day, week. Maybe you replay it in a month, but only the first couple times. And then I think once you've gotten past those first initial couple games, you're likely going to be spreading out and finding other games you prefer to play. So for me, replayability, thumbs down. Keys to victory. What are you after? Are you trying to focus in on making more buildings, destroying other people's buildings? Are you trying to let them destroy yours so you can keep retaking and rebuilding to keep getting points? Are you building up top? Are you using the cards to ignore all of the points and instead go for a special type victory? There are so many ways to fight, to defend, to advance, to expand, to get your points, or to get a victory. Huge thumbs up. Is it unique? I really like this game. And in a lot of ways it is unique. However, the problem I find is that if you're looking for a war game, you could play this game, or you could play one of your other style war games that's going to be reasonably in this realm. Maybe it's not the exact same setup as this. The setup of rolling 2 dice and the attacker gets the higher and the defender gets the lower, that's different. But in general, I think that this is a game that it's going to have war games being up against it. You can pick one or the other. But the other style to it of your unique factions, it bumps right up against Vast. And while I think this is a superior game to Vast, people who are into that style game have Vast to consider, and I think that it has, just like this, the expansions, the additional characters. To me, it does feel unique in so many ways, but I have to judge it on the fact that it's A and B. It's a war game, and it's a unique faction game. And when it comes to those two, Vast and any other war game tend to be the games you can choose between with it. And that means it doesn't necessarily stand out. So I have to give it thumbs down. Overall, what do I think? I think it's a great game. I think if you like a war game, if you like a game like Vast, this is probably going to be a game that will contend for one of your favorites. If you're only into war games, I'm not sure this one will hit for you because of that Vast mechanisms. If you're only into Vast, you don't like war games, I don't know if this is going to hit you because the warfare is there and it's prominent. But if you like a game that gives you the ability for warfare, but not the focus, if you like a game where you can change up your character and the game feels totally different every time you play, I think this will be one you'll love. Well, it has been day 296. We've been speaking about the game Root. And you've been speaking to the Meeples Champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description. I'll be adding an Amazon link in case you want to get this game for your collection. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.